RiteAidWellness.com to sign up and learn more today about Wellness Plus. Rite Aid. With us, it's personal.
Newsradio 1070 WKOK presents On the Mark. It's a chance to voice your opinion on the events that affect life in the Susquehanna Valley. Call 1-800-795-9565 or email onthemark@wkok.com. Now, here are your hosts for On the Mark, Mark Lawrence and Than Mitchell.
Greetings and welcome on board the WKOK Live Telephone Talk Show. It is entitled On the Mark. I am Mark Lawrence, subpar Democratic host of the show.
Never subpar, Mark. You're the most parest I've ever run into.
You're parest.
You're as par as you could be.
Try not to parse words.
Yeah, you're part of the whole movement here.
I'm part of it.
Yes, you are.
I
hope you'll pardon me.
Oh, my gosh. Well, now that we've parted the waters here to get the show started, Kevin's grabbing his headphones. He's heard enough of it already.
Kevin, do your part.
And tell us that it is time for us to move on. All righty. I am Mark Lawrence, subpar, because that's what you shoot for in golf, is to nobody wants to be average. Everybody wants to be below average.
That's the only sport where you can be below average and win. Okay, great. Well, but racing, you can be below average if your time is below average. That can help anyway, right? I see that we got our first call of the morning. Kevin Herr is the greatest engineer the planet has ever known, and so we very much thank him for being on the other side of the glass, controlling things. Our co-host today is Than Mitchell.
Good morning.
The thinker from Turtleville, the teacher from Turtleville, wisdom of Winfield.
There are lots of puns on Turtleville, if you think about it. We shall see.
Okay, so we won't say any of those on the radio. So we are going to have an open phones day. Our webcam is up and running. We invite you to go to WKOK.com, click on the webcam, and you can, in fact, see the studio. You can look down at us, but not in an arrogant way.
A lot of people do that,
Yeah, how about it? And it is an opportunity for you to see the show. It's a 24-hour archive right there, and then we overwrite it tomorrow. And then it gets posted at the YouTube channel. So actually, right after the show, it goes to the YouTube channel. If you are not subscribed to WKOK's YouTube channel, boy, you can see all kinds of things. You can see Cody Jade playing the guitar on WKOK Sunrise a couple months ago. That's there, plus a lot of other fantastic videos on our YouTube channel. The WKOK On the Mark, sponsored by the Sunbury Motor Company, family-owned dealership since 1915, 4th Street, Sunbury, routes 11 and 15, Hummel's Wharf. They invite you to check out the Ford, the Hyundai, the Kia, and the Lincoln cars. Kevin Herr's driving one of those Hyundais around. We're going to talk to him during the 9 o'clock hour. He is just driving the shiniest, sleekest, most beautiful, lowest slung, fantastic, neat 20 miles or $20,000 or less to purchase, 30 miles to the gallon or more on highways, and pretty much that in the city too.
I hit 31 today.
Yeah, and that's coming from Danville to here, which is not an awful lot of open highway driving, so it's a really good.
And that's going 90. It even goes 90 miles.
My mileage has actually gone up as the weeks progressed. That's a rarity.
All right, so that is Kevin, and he's going to say some more words about that sleek car it's the shiniest car in the lot right now, so we appreciate him talking about that. 9 o'clock, Lenape Solar email in basket open. Lenape Solar, 140 South 2nd Street in Sunbury. They got a solar array display set up for you. What do you see in the solar array display? Well, you can see photovoltaic, which is when you generate electricity using the sun. They also got solar thermal, which is when you use sun to generate thermos bottles, so that's solar thermos, and they would just love to help you out at Lenape Solar. LenapeSolar.com is their main website. We have an open phones day for the next 90 minutes. We can talk about the topics of your selection. We're very glad to say that our first caller of the morning has been patiently waiting. Northumberland County Commissioner Vinnie Klaus is on the line. Good morning, Vinnie. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, guys. I'd like to make a few comments what happened yesterday and the last couple of years. Okay, you guys have been aware that the Northumberland County Warden is no longer working for us, and I'm going to leave it right there by the Warden. Okay, I just wanted the citizens in Northumberland County to know, okay, I put a team together with the Judge Wiest and Mr. Quarterloo and the sheriff and the Proprietary's office to go collect the money for the deadbeats they owe millions of dollars, and we're going to collect this money or they're going to go to jail, first. Second, you guys being aware that Mr. Sharkey resigned from the prison board yesterday, and he accused me and the prison board yesterday to be everybody in my puppet. Okay, I never told the DA to be corrupted to vote with me. I never told the sheriff's department to vote with me to get rid of the warden. So what I want to make the point to tell you guys in the citizens of Northumberland County, I work with Carl Moss, he was a Republican. I work with Mr. Phillips, he was a Republican. I'm working with Judge Wiest, he's a Republican. I work with I'm working with the Proprietary's office. Dungelberg is a Republican. Quarterloo is a Republican. And Mr. Shark, he accuses me every day to do stuff wrong. I don't have a problem. He has a problem because the evidence shows I work with everybody except him. He cannot work with me because he has a vendetta against me. Okay, and Mr. Shark now he accused the DA's office and he accused the sheriff's department that they my puppet. That's wrong, guys. Why you guys don't talk about this issue in the radio and tell the people in Northumberland County the truth? I'm not the trouble. Mr. Shark is the problem in Northumberland County. And I feel terrible for the residents in Northumberland County, the citizens in Northumberland County. The lawyer that take office in Northumberland County, they take a majority in Northumberland County, the Northumberland County would go broke. I will guarantee you that.
Well, you have an open mic to talk about this, so if we're not characterizing what you feel is an accurate picture.
No. It's the truth, Mark. It's the truth and the evidence. The evidence shows the truth.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, so you have an open mic to talk about that. Come and visit us again. Union County Commissioners also wrote a letter. They feel as though your negotiations on this 911 thing have not been forthright and open. Your view on against them.
Yeah, and I could talk about Union County Commission about 2 years ago when the new board became in. Well, almost it was 3 years ago. Mr. Shocker was in the meeting, myself and Mr. Brady. They asked for $200,000 extra. They wanted for $200,000. Then because I told them no way in hell I give it $200,000 because they know it's not worth the call they make for $200,000. When we receive $60,000, how can we give them $200,000? Then they come into the table and they say, well, they settle for $100 for 10-year contract. I'm not giving them $1 million when we have one of the state-of-the-art communication we're going to have in Northumberland County in the state of Pennsylvania. We're going to have the state-of-the-art communication. We're going to take over. They're not one of them. We will take over. We will make sure what's right, and I will buy all the radio for the police, and I buy all the radio for the fire department, and we're going to save $1 million in 10 years.
Vinny, this is Than Mitchell. I happen to be a Union County resident, so I'm one of the people Northumberland County apparently owes $50,000 for use of 911.
Show them what is the contract that we owe them $50,000. That's what they claim.
So you are saying my commissioners in Union County are lying about this and making it up?
You commissioner, they took the service 40 years ago, 50 years ago, for the money they was receiving for the phone for the phone charge. What is $1.25 per phone? Okay, they took that for many years. Not because the people, the residents, are cutting the phone off and they don't make enough money. Now they want the money from us. Hey, they took the gravy train many years ago, and they're not going to take any more from us.
Well, Vinny, can you? I'm
hold
sorry.
on, Mr. Mitchell. We received the same thing in Northumberland County. Okay, we received the same amount. Well, we lost a lot of money in Northumberland County because the phone, a lot of the people, they went in cell phone and not to a house phone.
It's hard for me to take a side, although I hope you would look at the fact that you seem to be in trouble with everybody around here. You, Vinny Clausey, seem to be the one who are calling my commissioner.
Who I'm in trouble with you, sir? I'm in trouble with you.
Oh, heck no, Vinny. I like you a lot, but my commissioners are saying you owe us $50,000. That's all there is to it. It is what you owe, and you called them names.
You show your commissioner. You show me your commissioner. We owe him $50,000 that we get paid tomorrow.
Okay, I will tell you what. When I get home today, I'll be calling the commissioner's office to see what happens.
I want to see how do we hold the $50,000. Show me the agreement. We owe him $50,000, and I'll pay him tomorrow.
Okay, all righty.
All right. So now
you got the Union County Commission is going to protect the residents, I got to protect my residents in Northumberland County. I have the right to protect our residents.
All right, so the Northumberland County 911 system soon going to be taking care of Upper Northumberland County and Union.
Absolutely, and it's going to be and let me tell you something. We buy the frequency in 7 counties around. We own the frequency.
So you'll be leasing
you wait and see what's
out.
going to happen, Mark. We're going to make money in our frequency we purchase. You wait and see what's going to happen. Give us another year and a half, and you guys got to say the best decision I make, the best move I make, because we buy the frequency in 7 counties.
You know, one of the advantages of having Union County Dispatch Upper Northumberland County is you have really superlative, state-of-the-art dispatching. You'll be able to duplicate that for.
We'll be able to make it 10 times better than what they have.
Okay.
You wouldn't exaggerate, would you, sir?
Okay.
Well, you guys see the system we purchased is the best service in the United States.
All right, so you'll be up and running. Is that going to be installed in the weeks or months ahead, or is it already ready?
Well, we hope we have it running by January 1st, but we don't, so the Union County has to put up with us for 1 month or 2 months or 3 months till we get it going. I mean, they cannot abandon the citizens when they took the gravy train for 40 years.
All right, we'll certainly give you the benefit of the doubt, and I've seen nothing but superlative work out of the 911 system in Northumberland County, so it doesn't seem to me, it isn't a stretch in my imagination that you'll be able to have that up and running to handle Upper Northumberland County in the months ahead. Additional thoughts, anything else on your mind these days? There, of course, always are important things to talk about.
I'm proud of myself to put a team together to go collect the money. The deadbeats, the dad, they hold the children, they don't pay the children. So far, we collect $80,000. And we're gonna collect millions. And because let me tell you something, I'm gonna give a sheriff. I'm gonna employ one more sheriff, and I'm gonna employ a detective to go and pick up this deadbeat's daddy and bring the people to Northumberland County, the people they owe us. We have a $24 million in the street. We're gonna collect this money.
All right, let's see. You're running for re-election or not? I forget.
No,
you're not.
So far it's no, because I'm going to retire. I'm going to be 62. I'm not going to be a career politician. I believe 2-term commission should be the end.
All right. We talked to a candidate, Best, last week. Her car had been sabotaged. Your reaction to hearing that tragic news that somebody would try to injure her?
I don't have a clue. I'm in Massachusetts working at a Lowe's company. I don't have a clue what you guys talking about.
Oh, okay. What happened was last week, Kimberly Best, 2 weeks ago now, her car was sabotaged. Some bolts were taken off the drive shaft, and then some adhesive added so it would give way under high stress, not under just normal driving circumstances. At some point, when her family was in the car, the drive shaft did break. Now, but I believe she was at a stoplight.
If somebody screwed up with a car, she should go to the authority to do an investigation.
Yeah, they did, and then they handed it over to state police.
Because nobody should deserve that. Nobody.
All right, and your reaction to that, this idea that potentially politics may play a role in that kind of an incident.
I don't think so, Paulo. Nobody would risk children to die. That's ridiculous, guys.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Vinny Clausy, Northumberland County Commissioner Chair. You got an open mic here anytime. Come on up. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you very much, guys. Bye.
Yep. Thank you, Vinny.
Vinny Clausy, Northumberland County Commissioner Chair.
I
He's
think
invited back up, although the next time he's up, I've promised him this, and I'll deliver it. He doesn't want phone calls, so that we can. I have
on a phone call program. He doesn't want. Now, does Vinny dictate to everybody how we do things?
Well, here's the rub. The last time he was here, I let his political opponents get through, and so it ended up more of them and less of Vinny. So to balance it out, I says, the next time you come up for 20 minutes or so, if you don't want phone calls, that'll be fine, because then I still have 20 questions left off from that interview and 100 more to add. So I thought it was a generous offer. Obviously, you think he's dictating it. It was my offer to him. And so I think
actually, yes, I do think he's dictating, but yes, I think it's a good idea because he was interrupted through his entire broadcast. Problem is, the people who interrupted him were saying, Vinny, you have an idea. I've got another one. It's not that Vinny is right all the time, even though he apparently thinks he is.
Well, I'm a staunch Vinny supporter, and I think anytime he has an open mic is a good mic. So.
I'm happy to hear from him anytime. I really do like Vinny. He's an interesting guy.
All right, 1-800-795-9565 is our toll-free line. Feel free to give us a buzz. That was a punchline. Come on, work with me here. 1-800-1-800-795-9565 is the telephone number. We would just love to hear from you. Feel free. And Lenape Solar email in basket open. Email us at onthemark@WKOK.com. And our main sponsor always is the Sunbury Motor Company.
It may be the dog days of summer, but all the cool cats are at Sunbury Motors Kia.
Wanna see you in a Kia. Sunbury Motors Kia.
Yes, we're scratching and clawing for every dollar we can save you on new Kias, like our 2015 Sorenos with discounts and rebates up to $4,000, starting at $22,913. Or our iconic hit 2014 Kia Soul. We have 14 of these, starting at $14,995. And we're not done. How about the coolest, sleekest family sedan out there? Our 2014 Optima and Optima Hybrids, all with 0% APR financing for up to 60 months, starting at $20,860. We have 87 new Kias to choose from, and all with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. So hurry on down to the Strip at Hummel's Wharf and see the cool cats with the cool cars at Sunbury Motors Kia, or visit us at sunburymotors.com. Sunbury Motors, selling more cars and satisfying more customers for almost 100 years.
Tax and tax extra. Must qualify specially at KMF incentives apply. 0% financing to all qualified customers.
Are you concerned about funding your child's college education? Let Mifflinburg Bank and Trust take your worries away with a new home equity loan. Come and meet one of our loan officers to discuss available rates, terms, and financing options, or apply online today at mbtc.com. Mifflinburg Bank and Trust, your community's trusted financial resource, with convenient locations in Mifflinburg, Lewisburg, Millheim, New Berlin, and Schmoken Dam. Always online at mbtc.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When your kids are young, it's easy to postpone saving for college. But the earlier you start, even with small amounts, the more you may benefit from tax savings or other financial advantages. So to start your plan now, contact me, Betsy Guffey of Milestone Investment Services, located at Mifflinburg Bank and Trust.
Advisory service and securities offered through Lincoln Investment Planning Incorporated. Member FINRA and SIPC. Lincoln Investment Planning is not affiliated with Milestone Investment Services or Mifflinburg Bank and Trust. Securities are not FDIC insured and involve risk, including possible loss of principal.
Now is the time to go to your Kubota dealer and get a brand new Kubota M-Series tractor during Kubota's Gear Up and Go sales event. If you're thinking about a rugged utility tractor and the year-round comfort of a Grand X-Cab, then a new Kubota has your name on it. With a smooth-running diesel engine and IntelliShift transmission, your Kubota dealer is the place to start. Right now, get your own Kubota M-Series tractor for 0 down and 0% financing for up to 60 months. So for a great deal, think orange at the Kubota Gear Up and Go sales event. For more information or to find a participating dealer, go to Kubota.com.
0 down, 0% APR financing for terms up to 60 months on selected equipment now through September 30th, 2014. Not available for rental national accounts or government customers. 0% APR low rate financing not available with instant rebate offers. Financing available through Kubota Credit Corporation USA subject to credit approval. Other exceptions may apply. For more information, call toll free 1-888-465-8268.
Alrighty, welcome back. I am Mark Lawrence, the program director here at WKOK. You wish to give me your 2 cents off air, mlawrence@WKOK.com. You can send us a note, kher@WKOK.com. It's Kevin Her. In case you want to tell him something important, you feel free to send him a note. And across from me is tmitchell@WKOK.com. Actually, if we get that email, I'll forward it to you.
Okay, because I don't think I have that email.
Dan Mitchell's over there now, our co-host. Good morning, Michelle. Thank you so much for calling and waiting through the break. You're on the mark.
Hi, Michelle.
Hello. I just wanted to give you a great big thank you. You had a speaker from Susquehanna Greenway on the radio the other week. I only heard part of the program, but I heard they were having a river sojourn. So I got on the computer, and my son and I just completed the sojourn this past Sunday. We did the 3 days of paddling and the bike ride on the Pine Creek Rail Trail, and it was fantastic. And I just wanted to thank you so much for having that speaker on the program.
Well, Michelle, I recognize your voice. You and I are acquaintances, so I'm glad you did that. Now, had you canoed or kayaked in the past?
I had canoed in the past, and I wanted to canoe, but my son said, I don't want to canoe because then you're dependent on the other person. I was thinking, well, yeah, son, that's the point of it. We used kayaks. We rented kayaks, and I found out that the size kayak I thought I could handle was not a good size for the river. So I was paddling as fast as everyone else, but I wasn't going as fast as everyone else, but I did it. Made it through the trip.
And where did the trip go? I'm sorry, Michelle, where did the trip go from to?
We started at Renovo, Pennsylvania last Thursday. We camped overnight Wednesday night at Renovo and then got on the river at Renovo, and we paddled to a new canoe access along the West Branch, Baker's Run Canoe Access, and camped there overnight. And it was interesting.
It is a wonderful way to see the waterway in a completely different light when you're sitting in the water.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it?
Blue sky, green mountains, and water. It was beautiful.
And railroad lines along the trail.
Very few signs of civilization the first 2 days.
Yeah, what did you learn? Explain what you learned, Michelle.
The very first morning we had a speaker from DCNR who talked about the rock formations of the area we were going to be traveling through and the glaciers, how far they impacted into Pennsylvania. And there were people from all over the East Coast, so most of them were not familiar with the area at all. I'd never been to Renovo before. It was just beautiful up there.
All right, and your son is what, 12, I guess? Something.
No, he's 20, almost 21.
Oh, get out of here.
Well, that was close, Mark.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen you in a while, so.
Yeah, for quite a while. I would
insulted the
say.
poor kid.
I would say close to 10 years.
Funny, you don't look 20. You look more 12.
Are you guys okay? Are you done now?
I think I'm done now.
All right,
Thanks.
Michelle,
okay.
some additional insights on this big canoe trip.
Oh, it was really great. We paddled the second day from Baker's Run down to Lock Haven, and then the next morning we paddled from Lock Haven to just below the Macquahattan Woolrich Bridge. Then they bussed us over to the Woolrich factory for a tour, which was very interesting. I've never been through a wool factory before, and we saw a lot of the factory. And
you did some bike riding?
Then we paddled down to Jersey Shore. We camped overnight there. And then the next day they bussed us out to the Ross Run entrance to the Pine Creek Rail Trail, and we biked 21 miles.
Wow, that's a good ride.
Boy, you are ambitious, Michelle.
Maybe a little bit longer than I would have wanted, but it was really good.
Wonderful.
Fantastic. Well,
Wonderful.
thank you so much, Michelle. I really appreciate that. Well, thanks for getting the tip from the radio. The SusquehannaGreenway.org is their website if anybody wants to follow up. There's some more canoe trips, 1 or 2 more this month. So, but thank you, Michelle. Really, very much appreciated. Keep the insights coming on this, and now you know what you can do next summer too. Go on another, and they have longer trips, and I believe there's going to be another 400-mile one coming up.
I will have to do some more working out for that.
Yeah, I think it's 2016. Somebody's going to go from Council Rock all the way down to the Chesapeake.
Wow.
A group, Chesapeake Bay Foundation.
And I think I'll get a chair and sit along the river watching that one.
You can wave
You
them.
can be waving, yes.
When they go by. All right, well, thank you so much,
Thanks, Michelle.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you again. Bye.
Always makes me happy when somebody discovers the river, and the river in this area, of course, is the Susquehanna, either North Branch, West Branch, or the main stem that goes down to the Chesapeake. When I came here from up in the endless mountains, the river looked awfully large to me and awfully deep. And I sensed that time of about, it's around 40 years now, maybe 50, I guess 50 years I have been here, and I've found out the river is shallow, it's beautiful, and it is lined with trees. There's so little civilization along the river that it rather amazes me.
Have you ever been up to Cooperstown to the headwaters?
I have. It was years ago. I don't remember. That's the North Branch, of course.
Yeah, the main stem there actually starts right at the lake there in Cooperstown. But the amazing part about it is literally about 3 blocks from the Baseball Hall of Fame. So we went to the Baseball Hall of Fame, drove down the road just a little further, actually walked down the road just a little further, and saw the start of the Susquehanna River, which, by the way, looks almost like you could jump across.
Well, even
that's what I thought was so interesting, because you see it there, and then you go down to like Columbia, and it looks so wide it has like 6. It feels like 6 bridges to cross.
Well, you know, the interesting thing, Kevin, is from the very start to the very end of the Susquehanna River, it is not deep anywhere. There are holes where you can boat, but not many, and it takes dams and fabri-dams and all that sort of thing In Williamsport, for instance, the Hiawatha is behind a dam, and the river is so shallow, and this I found to be an exciting thing to learn, that there's never been any upriver commerce except for the railroads, which were preceded by a few years of canals. Everything came downriver because you had to wait until the spring flood, send the logs and butter down the river, and nothing could go back up again because it's so shallow.
All right, 1-800-795-9565. We're talking about the Susquehanna River. You won't be able to wave to the sojourn that goes from Council Rock at Cooperstown all the way down to the Chesapeake. They won't go past your house.
No, I would go down and actually get a place down, like along the marina would be just perfect, or on the amphitheater in Sunbury would be a perfect place to see them go by. Of course, they'll be...
Where does the West Branch start? Bald Eagle Creek?
Oh, my goodness. It's a lake out in Clearfield County, and I can't come up with it right now.
I don't know of any...
No, it starts in a small Kerwinsville.
Oh, okay.
Kerwinsville.
Well, I know about Kerwinsville cheese, very famous cheese
factory.
factory.
That's one way cheese got downriver.
They don't have a cheese shop out there, but if they did, it would be fun.
A little too cheap.
All right, 1-800-795-9565. Please memorize that. You're going to need that during the 9 o'clock hour because we are going to be talking about the...
How about the warden, Johnson,
prison warden
being fired?
He's out. Ann Targonski, the new DA, decided that his fate was sealed with some issues that have popped up at the North. Can you imagine problems at the Northumberland County Prison?
No. And then Rick Schuck said that Venny bullied the people to vote against Warden Johnson. I doubt that very much.
It's going to be interesting next year. No matter who gets elected, without Vinny on the board in 2016, the board will have sort of a different composure anyway. You know, even if they, totally incompetent, terrible leaders and couldn't do a thing, without the, sort of the verbose chair, it's going to sound much different.
It is going to sound different.
I talked to Trevor Finn in Montour County. I said, you guys are boring.
Yeah, same with Union County. Yeah, it's funny to have an argument with Union County. They're so quiet, and they just kind of say, okay, whatever. All right, you're listening to News Radio 1070 WKOK Sunbury.
CBS News, I'm Peter King. It's been a calmer night in Ferguson, Missouri, but not a trouble-free one. CBS's Mark Strassman is there.
What began as a peaceful night of protest shifted into yet another street battle as protesters began launching bottles in the direction of officers.
The criminals embedded themselves and hid behind media. They threw urine on officers, and that's what caused officers to take action and begin to make arrests.
Those responsible were removed one by one. Police used pepper spray to scatter the crowd, but no rubber bullets were fired.
Later today, a local grand jury is expected to hear evidence in the shooting death of Michael Brown, and his family has scheduled his funeral for Monday.
Attorney General Eric Holder goes to Ferguson today. White House correspondent Peter Mayer.
The nation's top law enforcement official will confer with FBI agents on the federal investigation. Holder will also meet with local officials and community leaders who've been involved in efforts to restore peace in the troubled St. Louis suburb. Officials say Holder will tell everyone involved in all levels of the inquiry to avoid prejudging a case that is under investigation.
In Harvey, Illinois, a standoff between two gunmen and police is into its 19th hour. WBBM's Bob Roberts.
The gunmen were would-be thieves who apparently had no idea anyone was home initially, but quickly took 8 hostages. They fired on arriving police officers, grazing one and breaking the arm of another. Now SWAT officers from 26 departments are on the scene. Negotiations have been conducted through an open window, not by phone.
There are still 2 children and 2 adults inside. The family of American journalist James Foley says he is the man shown being beheaded in a video posted by Islamic State militants. Sky News reporter Nick Martin.
What the message towards the end of the video simply said was that if you continue with U.S. airstrikes, then we will continue to spill American blood. And the fear is now that Steven Sotlov, who is a reporter for Time magazine, who's also featured in that video, there are huge worries for his welfare welfare, because the threat at the end says that if airstrikes continue, he will be next.
Air travelers may be getting overcharged thanks to higher security fees. CBS's Gary Nunn is here live with the details.
Peter, those higher charges, which amount to a few dollars per ticket, went into effect last month as part of congressional efforts to help balance the budget. Airlines and others selling tickets to ride warn that some people might be getting overcharged on trips to foreign destinations, Alaska or Hawaii, because of computer problems associated with those higher TSA fees. Such overcharges probably affect only about 1% of tickets sold, but when added up, they amount to several $millions extra for the TSA, Peter.
16 hours after the end of a week-long truce, fighting has resumed in Gaza, with Palestinians firing dozens of rockets and Israel responding with dozens of airstrikes. Fighting has become even more fierce in eastern Ukraine, where officials say 34 people have been killed, 29 injured in the past day. S&P futures are down too. This is CBS News.
Today is the day you switch to Rite Aid for one simple reason: Wellness Plus, the card that gives you credits you can use like cash, plus discounts that only members get, plus 20% off almost the entire store, plus that's for a whole year, plus rewards that start today and pile on every time you shop. So if you're tired of missing out on all the pluses only Rite Aid delivers, visit RiteAidWellness.com to sign up and learn more today about Wellness Plus. Rite Aid. With us, it's personal.
Look, kid, when guys like us walk into a facility in the morning, we can smell a problem. No one needs to hand us a work order. We already know it. Today, for instance, we need a new gearbox, 6 globe valves, and a dozen ballasts. And when I smell a problem, Grainger smells that I smell a problem. They help me keep this place up and running. Now that's the kind of smell I like. The sweet smell of success. Get it? Got it? Good. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Corona beer drinkers beware. The company has recalled some of its products after chipped glass was found in bottles.
Pope Francis has spoken candidly about his health and his own death.
The recall covers only select 12-ounce clear glass bottles in 6-pack, 12-pack, and 18-pack packages produced on certain dates.
And now the story of Pope Francis from CBS's Sabina Castelfranco.
Pope Francis has spoken candidly about his health and his own death, saying he would consider resigning like his predecessor Benedict XVI did last year. He said he would consider retirement if he felt he could no longer adequately perform his duties. The 77-year-old Pope also said he may not have more than 2 or 3 years left ahead of him. His comments came on his return flight from a 5-day trip to South Korea. Sabina Castelfranco, CBS News, Rome.
I'm Peter King, CBS News.
The garage floor, a foundation for the cardboard you lie on, under your car, wrench in hand, a place to rest a cold beverage and put Saturday to good use. So Advance Auto Parts lets you order your parts online at advanceautoparts.com and pick them up in store in just 30 minutes. So you can get back to the garage doing what you love. Advance Auto Parts. Let's get you back to the garage.
Visit advanceautoparts.com to learn more.
I try to put myself out there, but it seems they're all the same, just telling me what I want to hear.
Don't fret. You can find your car insurance soulmate. It's easy at geico.com. You can pay your bill, manage your policy, and you could even save some major cash. If we could reach through the computer to pull your chair out for you and give you a kiss on the hand, we would. Because you deserve to be in a happy, healthy car insurance relationship. That's what life is all about. For a free rate quote, visit geico.com.
Newsradio 1070 WKOK presents On the Mark. It's a chance to voice your opinion on the events that affect life in the Susquehanna Valley. Call 1-800-795-9565 or email onthemark@wkok.com. Now, here are your hosts for On the Mark, Mark Lawrence and Than Mitchell.
Greetings and welcome on board the WKOK Live Telephone Talk Show. It is entitled On the Mark. I am Mark Lawrence, the gracious host.
Gracious host. That's much better.
Accommodating.
Subpar golfer. And that's good.
Right. In that way, I'm subpar. Hopefully, I'm above average in other ways, on other forums.
Well, let's not go overboard.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything I'm above average in. But,
well, I'll tell you what. You do tell us about the sponsors as well as anybody I know here on this radio station.
All right, well,
and we've got good ones. I just went out and looked at the car that Kevin is driving.
It is a
Hyundai
Elantra, and very sleek going, and it actually has two modes. One, you can put it on Eco, which is how I would drive it, or you can put it on Rocket, which is what Kevin has.
We go. There's Eco and we go.
Not
Yes.
quite, no. But it does have a driver assist mode. Like if you're used to a standard and you wanted a standard, you can actually shift it yourself, or you can just slide it back into drive. I was telling Than that one of the things that I knew he would like is the steering has 3 modes: comfort, normal, and sport.
Wow!
So if you like a sportier drive and you like a little more of a challenge, we'll call it, you can put it in that mode, and it's a little bit more fun. It's very fun to drive, and 31 miles to the gallon right now is the average.
And I was really surprised. It has the backup camera. I'm not part of this commercial, but I just love cars. But it has a backup camera and all of these little, it would seem to be very, very expensive car features for less than 20 grand, which that's kind of surprising.
30 plus miles to the gallon, telescopic steering with tilt steering, also has, power windows, doors, the great option package, including the backup camera, and it's $18,000 right now at Sunbury Motors. You can, and if you'd like to see it, you can see this particular one on my Facebook page.
Oh, you took some pictures of it. Yeah, honest to gosh, folks, it is a ton of car. I know you're thinking, actually, it's 1.5 tons, Mark. But anyway, it's a ton of car for $18,000. It rocket fast, nice and sleek. And it's just great.
And on the other side of that, it looks like it would be great for a family of 4 or 5.
38 miles to the gallon on the highway. You almost 29 on the city, I think was the number. It's just crazily efficient. So
if you drive on the highway all the time, you have to watch it because your gas tank will overflow. Saves so much gas.
That's funny. Alrighty, so the Sunbury Motor Company, their location in the world where you can find the Elantra or any of the other Hyundais or the Ford or the Kia, the Lincoln cars and trucks, and they would just love to do business with you. SunburyMotors.com. Go to SunburyMotors.com to check out the rest of their vehicles. And any vehicle they got a picture of it on the web. Any vehicle you want, they can get it, and the web is the way to pass through that. Lenape Solar email in basket open. You simply email on the mark at WKOK.com, and in many cases we read your email on the radio. Lenape Solar, the fastest growing solar company in the valley, and why not? They're installing solar systems at farms, businesses, homes, and nonprofit organizations. Anybody who's interested in a short-term investment and a long-term savings, whether you want to use it to generate electricity that you use on site or sell it to PPL, or you want to use the heat that you use for your domestic hot water or to heat a facility in the winter. Some folks are using solar for greenhouses. Some folks are using wide expanses of roof that they already have for solar panels to help offset electric costs, and they would just love to help you do that. LenapeSolar.com. Go see them on 2nd Street in Sunbury. They got a showroom display set up, and salespeople, they sell solar panels right off the floor. You can walk out with one in your hands if you're interested, and you can
just don't walk out in the sunshine and hang on to those 2 clips. You got to watch that.
The 2 nodes, yeah, that would not be good. A shocking experience. All right, and our webcam is up and running thanks to Kevin Hur's hard work. Greatest engineer the world has ever known. The webcam works. You simply go to WKOK.com, zoom right in on that little TV, and click there, and you can see a quick Ustream message, and then you can watch the show anytime while it's live or shortly thereafter, or go to our YouTube channel. We're in the process of uploading some videos even as we speak, and we'll have some new videos posted there on our YouTube channel, so do check it out. 1-800-795-9565, our open phone. We're lucky enough to have Vinny Clausey on the line. We're currently in deep, intense negotiations with Rick Shock. Okay, so he just sent me a text, and I said, okay. He's agreed to come on the show probably Friday, so we'll get another version of some of these remarks that we've heard lately on this, and we'll resume this conversation. Let's open it up. 1-800-795-9565. Buzz is on the line. Thanks for checking in. You're on the mark.
Hi, guys. It's first day of school in a lot of areas, and there's school buses, but I had a question. This morning when I was trying to come to work down Strawbridge Road, there was a school bus parked, flasher's door open, waiting for somebody on the downside of Strawbridge Hill. There were already 9 cars ahead of me. We waited and we waited and we waited and we waited, and then there were 5 more cars ahead of me, and then the guy up by the school bus turned around and came back up to take an alternative, and I took an alternative. I appreciate that it could have been a special needs child or something, but, isn't there some kind of a limit to how long a school bus can wait to pick up a child if they're not ready when you've got 15 cars behind you that need to go to work? I mean, does anybody could anybody tell us what the deal is?
Boy, that is interesting. I've never had that happen to me, but
me either. It was unbelievable. I mean, this school bus sat there like it was the only vehicle using that road, and I was 12th in line, and there was about 4 behind me before everybody gave up and started turning around.
So you're saying nobody got on the bus at all, Buzz?
No, the bus sat there with the door open and was waiting for whoever was supposed to be coming out of that house that it was in front of.
Maybe a first day of school. Oops, I forgot it's the first day of school.
Yeah, but, how is it that school bus driver would sit there and keep all those people that are trying to go to work waiting?
No, that's a nice school bus driver. Mine would have stopped for about 30 seconds. No, all right, 3 seconds, and then would have gone right on.
I would appreciate some input from somebody that has the answer to that.
I have a guess, and that guess is that bus driver had no choice. Now, That's
what I'm thinking, but, there's got to be a line somewhere. I mean, you can't hold up a whole neighborhood trying to go to work waiting for one kid that's not ready for the bus.
Yep, I agree with you. I don't know. Let's see if we can find out some input on this, Buzz.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, drive carefully, buddy.
Thank you. The science of school busing, always an important conversation.
I'm glad to know it was the first day of school. I came to work this morning, which is only about 4 miles, and I thought, oh my goodness, people left out their children instead of their garbage last night. And then I realized, they're waiting for the school bus. Good day early on and later this afternoon. Always drive carefully, but during those period of time when young people are scooting across the road and not looking both ways, be careful.
They're not going to school in Millville.
Well, no, they're not. That's how long have they been in negotiation? Several years in Millville.
About as long as Danville has been, 2 years.
Yeah, and they finally said, here's where we're going to strike right now.
Am I wrong, Mark? I think Millville, Danville, I think Line Mountain, Southern, is that another one that has a contract coming up here very soon or already expired?
I don't know. I have not heard about that.
I thought there was 4 in the area.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, it could be. All right, well, on to some local headlines. Then we'll launch back into open phones. We would invite anybody to call in, 1-800-795-9565. We talked about Northumberland County a little bit, and we can talk about other topics too. School bus safety. We can talk about the science of school busing at some point as our day progresses. Local headlines. The Millville Area School District was scheduled to open today, but will not because of a teacher strike. The district and its more than 60 teachers have failed to reach an agreement. Mark McDade, PSCA representative for the district, says the teachers haven't received a raise in more than 2 years, and negotiations began in 2012. He says teachers are dealing with a spike in health care costs, too, that they must absorb. The school district says, the school board president says, however, they've been more than generous in their offers, far above anything else that other local residents are able to earn or support tax-wise. The district serves about 700 students in Columbia County, 60 teachers picketing, even as we speak, in the Millville Area School District. A 2-alarm fire at home in Watsontown left a total of 14 people homeless. How about that? More than a dozen homeless. Fire started around 8 o'clock last night. 2 parents and 12 children lived there. The home destroyed by fire. No injuries reported. Cause of that fire under investigation.
Wow, that's going to be tough to find a place to live.
Yeah, 12. Oh my gosh, that's a bit. That is a. You're right. Yeah, big number. They'll have to rent a motel. Funds from a swim club discrimination settlement have been distributed to 6 youth groups in the Philadelphia area. The $65,000 in funding is part of a $1.1 million court settlement involving the now closed Valley Club of Huntington Valley. Justice Department investigation found the suburban club had been racially hostile to minority children during paid visits arranged by their daycare center in 2009. The Valley Club filed for bankruptcy shortly thereafter and closed in the wake of the ensuing publicity and lawsuit. More than 70 campers and counselors who filed suit will share the rest of the settlement. The Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission says Tuesday the nonprofits sharing the $65,000 set-aside fund include the Boys and Girls Clubs of Philadelphia and the Police Athletic League in Philadelphia. And 2 stories about the Washington Redskins. Believe it or not, we can go for months without one. Now we have 2. Washington Redskins safety Ryan Clark says Michael Brown could have been any one of his teammates or their brothers or cousins. And because of that, several members of the Redskins came out of the tunnel for last night's exhibition game, displaying the hands up, don't shoot sign that protesters in Ferguson, Missouri have adopted. They're in support of Brown, the 18-year-old who was shot to death by police. 11 players took part in the protest. And another story, this time from New York. A growing number of people are finding the name Redskins offensive, and a couple of NFL announcers say they won't use that name when the NFL team is being broadcast. The CBS lead analyst Phil Simms and NBC's Tony Dungy say they don't plan to use the name Redskins during their broadcast. Simms says he isn't taking sides in whether the team nickname is offensive or racist or not, but says out of sensitivity to the complainants, he's leaning against using the name. So Tony Dungy not going to use that.
Boy, that is very progressive of him, because though he's not sure that it's offensive, he is understanding that somebody truly believes it is.
Right. Well, many people, not just anybody. Okay. Thank you, Tony, for waiting through the news headlines. You're on the mark.
Hi, Tony.
Hey, I wait my whole life.
That's funny.
Talking about school buses, I had a situation this morning where the bus gets there, then the family decides to bring them out. Then the kids got to say goodbye to all, I guess, the aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, whatever. You know, there should be a limit to this. I mean, they should have 30 seconds.
It's first day, Tony. Can you be a little comfortable, stretch it a little bit for the first day?
No. Okay. But what's more frustrating than that is the buses that stop at every house.
And they go through this whole prolonged departure, like they're never going to see him again. I
agree with Dan a little bit. Yeah, it's the first day. But when they stop at one house, they go 50 feet. They stop at the next house. Can't the kids gather in one area? I believe they used to do it that way.
Yeah, bus stop, they call it.
Yeah. And as far as the Redskins, does anybody know why they were initially called the Redskins?
Yeah, that came from a group that was actually known as the Redskins up in the New England area.
In the New England, had nothing to do with Indians, correct?
That I don't recall. I'm going to look that up to make sure, but I know it came from the roots of the team in the New England area.
And their first coach was a Native American.
Yeah, you got me, Tony. This is between you and it's going to be between you and Kevin.
Well, their first coach. I mean, and that was one of the reasons they said Redskins.
Yeah, there's been some talk about that.
How many people are really offended?
I would say most people who are Native Americans are at least thinking about it.
I have not heard that from them at all.
Wow. Then you haven't been listening.
Well, no, I have been listening. Maybe a few activists here and there.
Yeah, a few activists, a few court proceedings.
Right. That's not the whole Native American population.
Oh no. I'm sure there are disagreements, but I really don't think. I don't know what your ethnicity is, Tony, but if you were called the bad word for your ethnicity, you probably wouldn't be upset because you'd smile about it, but you might not want your children to be called that in kindergarten. And I think the word redskin.
I'm not that sensitive.
Your children might be.
Oberman was on, and he was talking about what was going on in Missouri. Remember that? And he mentioned the paddy wagon. He's not going to talk about Redskins, but he called the paddy wagon, came and picked up the demonstrators. Do you know what the paddy wagon is and why it's called the paddy wagon?
I think it has to do with the Irish.
It has to do with the Irish being drunk on a Saturday night. Get out the paddy wagon, go pick them up.
And so
Now,
you...
this is uber-sensitive Keith Olbermann.
Okay. All right.
Talking about, Native Americans are so offensive. Oh, go get the paddy wagon.
Well, I don't know. I have not heard a lot of people from Ireland being upset about paddy wagon.
No,
I
and
have
they're
heard a
not.
lot of people
Just like
who
they're
are
not
Native
upset about
Americans.
fighting Irish.
How about in Millville? I happen to be a Quaker kid. The basis of Quakerism is nonviolence and non-war. The Millville Fighting Quakers. My parents and I used to come to the Millville meeting and stop at the the Quakerette restaurant.
The Quakerette, yeah.
Because we enjoyed all the signs around there because we weren't offended, but many Quakers were.
I didn't know that.
They were known for their breakfast, too. Not the Quakers, but the Quakerette.
Quakers ain't bad
Is
either,
the University
Kevin.
of Pennsylvania, aren't they the Quakers? I believe they are.
Penn, yeah.
Isn't it Quaker Oats? That's
I mean,
a breakfast.
if you want, how about North Dakota, the Fighting Sioux? Florida State, the Seminoles, Shamokin, the Indians, Shikellamy, the Braves.
Well,
yeah, but Redskins is a disparaging nickname. It's not. Seminoles is what they are.
Redskins, if you want it to be disparaging, if it's what, like Kevin said, a New England group.
Well,
it has nothing to do with Native Americans.
So for those players who might be black, what if they call them the N-word?
Wait, what's more offensive? If I was a Native American, is that symbol for the Cleveland Indians, that bubblegum-looking, smiling chief.
Well, maybe that is offensive, but I think what if I'm sure some of the players are black, and what if they decided to call the team the N-word? I think that's exactly the same thing. That's identical, and of course you could say to anybody offended, well, that you're offended if you want to be, but I'm Tony. I don't think that's offensive.
Well, they do that. There's teams in, I believe there's a soccer team in Spain that's called the Los Negros.
Well, that's
Well,
not, that's not
that's
quite
what I
the
was
N-word.
No, because that would be
Where does
called
that
the
N-word
blacks.
come from?
Right.
Okay. Hey, thank you,
All right, well,
Tony.
thank you so much for
Yep.
checking in,
Yep,
Tony.
yep.
I'm always glad to hear from you. Joe, you're next up from Lewisburg. Thanks for calling in.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, guys. First of all, you did a great job on selling those cars. I don't like cars at all, and you have me wanting to run out.
Good. It is a nice piece. It is gorgeous.
I'm a motorhead, and I find it most interesting. If I had taken that in 1966 to one of the races I participated in, I would have been the star.
Really?
Absolutely.
And
It's
you would have
wonderful.
looked high-tech, too.
And I would have looked
compared to
high-tech.
the cars then.
Nobody would have understood the backup camera, but that's a whole different thing. What's on your mind,
Joe?
Joe?
Guys, the only thing I know is I turn that key, and if it starts, I'm good. If it doesn't, I don't even know what's going on or much care. But anyhow, this Redskin thing, it really has, in my mind, it really has nothing to do with the origin of the name. That's not the point. The point is we're in the 21st century. If anyone thinks Redskins isn't, in a sense, a derogatory term, just watch some of those old cowboy movies and how they refer to them as, the dirty Redskins, these, and that sort of thing. So, and it doesn't have to be offensive to even the majority of Native Americans. Enough people consider it offensive, and, it's a name. What would changing a name do? I just don't get
That is a wonderful question. What would hurt if some people are offended to change the name? What would it hurt?
Exactly.
And by the way, I think a lot of people are offended, and I don't think you have to be a Native American. I'm offended by it because I know what it means, as you do, from seeing the old Western movies, the filthy Redskins.
Yeah, and I find it offensive, and I see no need for it in this time and place.
You don't sound like a Native American.
No, I don't think so. I got to check my genealogy, but I'm pretty sure I'm not.
Now, I think you might be Native New Yorker.
Oh, yeah.
well, just to expand upon what we were saying earlier, the team was originally in the New England area and the Boston area, and the name Redskin was said to have come from a Newfoundland, Canada tribe that painted themselves red.
Right.
And then the settlers referred to them as the Red Men or Red Men.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. And understand, too, that they were the Braves before they were the Redskins.
Yeah, and as I keep saying, my point is that the origin is of no concern. It's what does the word mean today? What are the connotations of the term? So the origin has nothing. It can have an innocent origin. That doesn't mean it's okay.
Well, Joe, I just happened to, you kind of related back to me that back in the 1810, let's say 1810 to 1820, the N-word was what you called black people.
Yeah.
And everybody used it, and it's the way it was. Things were named with that N-word. It is terribly offensive now. Now's the time we do something about it. Don't worry how it started.
And things change. Like you say the N-word, but you take the other N-word, Negro. At one time, that was the acceptable, polite term for black people. Today, that's not acceptable to them. They don't want to be called Negroes.
Except for the United Negro College Fund.
True, you have that, but generally speaking, and you got me there, but generally speaking, I'm pretty sure I'm correct that they want to be called, basically they want to be called with African Americans or black is their preference.
I think so, and I think it's only polite to try to do what people kind of prefer.
Exactly, and that's why I said where the origins, the historical changes, it's what is it today, what does it mean to people today, and I think it's an offensive term, and I don't think it would hurt the football team one bit if they changed their name or their logo or anything of that. As you know, with Kevin Aaron, there's lots of crazy football fans out there. They could care less.
Okay.
They just want to see the game.
That's right. If they got any worse, I'd worry about it. Thank you very much, Joe. Appreciate
keep
it.
up the good work, guys.
Thanks.
I guess the only question I have on this is where do you draw the line at what's offensive and what's not?
Well, I think that name is patently offensive.
Okay,
there
but
can be no
why
doubt.
why would Braves be offensive?
I'm not sure that it is.
Yeah,
some people feel it is.
Well, I think that it depends upon certainly the numbers. If it's only one or two, that's one thing. But if it's a bunch, then you got to start saying, these children might be badly affected by that name.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here. You are listening to On the Mark. We're talking about the Washington Redskins. Phil Simms and Tony Dungy say when they're doing play-by-play of the upcoming NFL season, they're not going to use the name Redskins. I'm not sure what they're going to use instead, but they're not going to use the name
They're
Redskins.
going to say Washington.
Just say the Washington.
Yeah, that's been discussed, and CBS as a network does not have a policy on it, but they're letting their broadcasters make the decisions themselves.
Oh.
So Phil on television and on radio will decide to use Washington.
Rather than being assertive and deciding on their own, either use the name or not, which of course not would be the right thing. 1-800-795-9.
I find Washington offensive.
1-800.
Okay, now I'm with you on that one.
1-800-795-9565 is our open phone. Lenape Solar email in basket populated by notes that were sent to On the Mark at WKOK.com. Our main sponsor is the provider of Kevin's gorgeous Elantra, the Sunbury Motor Company.
It may be the dog days of summer, but all the cool cats are at Sunbury Motors Kia.
Wanna see you in a Kia. Sunbury Motors Kia.
Yes, we're scratching and clawing for every dollar we can save you on new Kias, like our 2015 Sorenos with discounts and rebates up to $4,000, starting at $22,913. Or our iconic hit 2014 Kia Soul. We have 14 of these, starting at $14,995. And we're not done. How about the coolest, sleekest family sedan out there? Our 2014 Optima and Optima Hybrids, all with 0% APR financing for up to 60 months, starting at $20,860. We have 87 new Kias to choose from, and all with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. So hurry on down to the Strip at Hummel's Wharf and see the cool cats with the cool cars at Sunbury Motors Kia, or visit us at sunburymotors.com. Sunbury Motors, selling more cars and satisfying more customers for almost 100 years.
Tax and tag extra. Must qualify specially and KMF incentives apply. 0% financing to all qualified customers.
If there were an 83% chance of rain, you'd probably grab an umbrella. If there were an 83% chance you could hit the lottery, you'd probably buy a ticket. So if there was an 83% chance that one of vehicle's tires had a problem, what would you do? The experts at your Ford dealer know that whether it's not properly inflated, losing tread, or wearing unevenly, 83% of all vehicles have an issue with at least one tire. So have your tires checked by the factory-trained experts at your Ford dealer. They know your Ford and its tires better than anyone.
And now get up to $130 in mail-in rebates on select tires when you use the Ford Service credit card. And you'll always get the low-price tire guarantee on the 13 name brands we sell.
Ford, go further.
Subject to credit approval. Rebate by prepaid debit card. Competitive ad required for tire guarantee within 30 days. Other tire manufacturer rebate or offer cannot be combined with Ford Service credit card rebate or offer. Data from Rubber Manufacturers Association. See your participating Ford dealer for details through 8/31/14.
Hi, this is Amy Buhner with Bowen Agency Realtors. Recent changes to some lending programs may mean that more people are able to purchase. Call me to discuss eligible properties and to get you to a lender to financially qualify you. Are you thinking about selling? This may mean there are more eligible buyers for your property. Buying or selling, don't delay, call me today. And remember, at the very least, you can always expect my very best.
Bowen Agency Realtors in Selinsgrove, Lewisburg, and Sunbury. On the web at bowenagency.com.
Here are some sobering statistics from a national insurance company. 82% of teens use cell phones while driving. 48% of girls are likely to speed 10 miles per hour over the limit versus boys 36%. And 76% of teens say they feel unsafe while another teen drives. Let's empower teens to promote smart driving. Tell them to take action if someone's been drinking, is speeding, or using their phone.
This message brought to you by the stations of Sunbury Broadcasting Corporation, including Newsradio 1070 WKOK and Selinsgrove Ford, proud supporters of Susquehanna Smart Drive.
All right, there we go. Thank you very much. Hail to the boop. It used to be called the Redskins. Now they're called the boop. All right, 1-800-795-9565. Phil Sims and Tony Dungy won't utter the word Redskins anymore because it's obviously disparaging, no more than you would use the N-word to describe a team that had chosen to nickname itself after some commonly used word decades ago and still used today among African Americans, but they won't utter it.
How about Indians? Is Indians offensive?
I don't think so.
Why not? They like to be called Native Americans. I
Well,
understand.
actually,
so is Indian offensive?
Indian refers to the fact that a stupid guy from Europe came over and thought he was in India. It was Christopher Columbus.
Is that
it
the
was.
origin of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
he thought he was
Even
in
I knew
India.
that.
That's funny. I forgot. I probably knew it back in the day, but I don't remember it.
Are you smarter than a fifth grader?
Not anymore.
Not now.
I may have been at some point, though. Dave, thanks for calling in. You're on the mark.
Hi, Dave.
Good morning. Who determines what words are actually offensive?
Well, is that not the heart of the matter? Yeah, that is the issue. Somebody's upset about Braves, right? You said, right? Somebody doesn't like
Braves, Indians, Warriors, all those have been under scrutiny recently.
Well, we were to a convention out in Cleveland here a couple of years ago, and walking through the mall, you heard the N-word shouted from one side of the mall to the other. And, it was mostly the white people that were looking around to see what the heck was going on, but the black people, it was just normal language for them to be shouting it, from one side of the mall to the other and all over. Or you turn the TV on to, say, like the BET channel, and the N-word is used, pretty frequently on there.
And so that gives us the right to use it, would
Why
you say?
Is it on all the time?
Would you say that gives us the right to use it?
No, but I'm just saying that if it's offensive, why isn't it offensive for everyone? And if it offends black people so much, why is it part of their entertainment?
But listen, I don't pretend to know these things, but I do.
But it's the same thing with they did the survey about the Redskins, and it was only a minority of the Indians that were offended by it.
So that's what you think is if a minority is offended, don't worry about it?
No, but it's why, it gets back to the conversation, other times on here about religion, that it's always the minority that rules everything, but that's all beside the point. But I just was wondering who actually determines what words are offensive And if they're offensive for one, why aren't they offensive for everyone?
Okay, that's something we'll keep worrying about.
That is the new issue emerging in this conversation.
Thanks, Dave. That is an interesting question, of course. But I have heard Joe McGranahan say, I wouldn't be at all offended by being called, since I believe he's Irish, being called a Mick or something like that. Well, yeah, but you're not a Native American, Joe, who was held, whose land was taken, who have been promised things in treaties, who have been massacred in great numbers by folks who took over this country. I think they have a different way of thinking about life. I have a feeling that's one of the reasons that also black people, African Americans, are offended by things that had to do with the time when they were incarcerated, they were slaves. I think maybe if you became one of those people overnight, you would really understand what they're talking about. I think it's lack of empathy that we don't notice that somebody is being hurt. Now, it may not be everybody. My parents thought it was funny that there were the Fighting Quakers in Millville.
It's ironic.
Although extremely offensive to a Quaker who believes in no war, a pacifist. And so, my parents thought it was funny. I know there were people in our meeting that didn't think it was funny at all.
Than, I never heard them referred to as the Fighting Quakers, but that they do have, that is part of the nickname?
Well, they had in that day, that was some years ago that I came there with my folks. And there was a banner, I just remember it well, a pennant, one of those things that's kind of three-sided that you hang off your car antenna, and it was the Fighting Quakers. And it had a Quaker little hat and all the funny stuff that they thought Quakers used to wear. They had that on the label, if I remember correctly, with the fists up. And, it's just...
Fighting Quaker, Fighting Irish.
Yeah, the Fighting
That's
Irish
good.
have that
All right.
have that look as well. And, we weren't as oppressed as some for a lot less years. And I think we have to look at that.
All right, let's continue the conversation. One of our listeners sends us a note. Before they came to Washington from New England, they were originally known as the Pottsville Maroons. Why not go back to the original name and call them the Washington Maroons?
The Washington Maroons.
I don't think that's completely correct, although it's very close. Pottsville did move to New England, but that team disbanded before, I think, as the Bulldogs. And the Boston franchise then started up in 1932, and the Bulldogs disbanded in 29. But Maroons is a possibility because of the colors.
Boy,
the color scheme.
Those are important things to know.
Come on now.
See, I have useless information.
Believe me, so do I.
I need to go
Kevin.
on Sports Jeopardy. All right, maybe not.
In 1966, they shipped 66,000 of bushels of wheat from Fargo, North Dakota to Walla Walla, Washington, if anybody ever asked you.
1-800-795-9565, the open phone. We'd love to talk to you. We're talking about the Washington Redskins. Our next email relates to school. Another one relates to a coal mine closing. That's been here a while, so we can read that email. 1-800-795-9565 is our telephone number. It's open phones. We're talking about the Washington Redskins. I guess the Atlanta Braves or Shikellamy Braves would be offensive to some. Florida State Seminoles, which is a particular...
I don't know about those things. I don't follow it closely.
Fighting Illini?
Right. Well, okay. That's
Chippewas.
somebody from Illinois that
nobody
fights.
was upset about the Chippewas.
Okay. Well, but that's their actual name, right?
Right.
That's like the Susquehannas or the Susquehannocks. And everything around here is named for Native Americans.
All right.
And they're not offensive because that was the name they gave them.
1-800-795-9565 is our open telephone number. Lenape Solar email in basket is open. Our main sponsor is the Sunbury Motor Company.
It may be the dog days of summer, but all the cool cats are at Sunbury Motors Kia.
Wanna see ya in a Kia. Sunbury Motors Kia.
Yes, we're scratching and clawing for every dollar we can save you on new Kias, like our 2015 Sorenos with discounts and rebates up to $4,000, starting at $22,913. Or our iconic hit 2014 Kia Soul. We have 14 of these, starting at $14,995. And we're not done. How about the coolest, sleekest family sedan out there? Our 2014 Optima and Optima Hybrids, all with 0% APR financing for up to 60 months, starting at $20,860. We have 87 new Kias to choose from, and all with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. So hurry on down to the Strip at Hummel's Wharf and see the cool cats with the cool cars at Sunbury Motors Kia, or visit us at sunburymotors.com. Sunbury Motors, selling more cars and satisfying more customers for almost 100 years.
Tax and tags extra. Must qualify specially at KMF Incentive Supply. 0% financing to well-qualified customers.
Come on home to convenience. Come on over with style.
Come on home to Paint Central at your local Kohl's Hardware, where you'll find everything from basic beginnings to the finishing touch in one convenient place.
Save $7 per gallon on True Value Easy Care Ultra Premium and Weatherall Ultra Premium paints with coupon.
Easy Care and Weatherall paint are available in over 1,100 new designer colors. It's stain resistant, has long-lasting durability, and offers one-coat coverage, saving you time, effort, and money.
If you're ready to update your style and create the home of your dreams, make the process simple and visit the knowledgeable paint professionals at Kohl's Hardware for expert guidance and color selection.
Watch for your $7 off per gallon coupon in our new circular at Kohl'sHardware.com and sign up for exclusive online offers year-round. We're right around the corner, right here in your hometown. Come on home to Kohl's for savings on all your painting needs.
Come on home to Kohl's. Kohl's Hardware. Come on home to Kohl's.
We live in an era of innovation, so we remade the Chrysler 200 from the factory floor up. We've transformed the science of shifting with a class-exclusive 9-speed transmission. We created a rotary E-shifter with craftsmanship you'll feel each time you twist it into gear. And we modernized fuel economy with 36 mpg highway. It's the American sedan people didn't think was possible. We made this, the all-new 2015 Chrysler 200, America's import.
Things have changed.
Well-qualified current lessees of competitive vehicles get a low-mileage lease on the 2015 Chrysler 200 Limited for $179 a month for 36 months with $19.99 due at signing. Tax, title, and license extra. Based on Chrysler Group LLC standard midsize sedan segment. EPA estimated MPG with 2.4-liter engine. Call 1-888-CHRYSLER for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Ally Financial. Excludes all other Chrysler Group LLC vehicles. 20-cent charge for each mile over 30,000. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 9/2.
That one always bothered me, the tomahawk chop.
Yeah, there were a lot of people offended by the Atlanta Braves fight song and tomahawk chop that went with it.
Yep.
Normally, they were most of them were Phillies fans at the time, but including myself.
All right, 1-800-795-9565. We're talking about disparaging remarks or disparaging names. For example, the Redskins is being talked about. Two announcers, Phil Simms and Tony Dungy, say they won't utter the word Redskins anymore, saying since it is offensive to some, they won't use it, even though, at least for Tony, he says he's not sort of on the fence in terms of whether it offends him, but he doesn't want to offend people who are in his audience, so he's not going to use that particular name. And as Kevin has pointed out, he'll just use the name Washington when he's referring to that particular NFL team. What's your view on this? I'd love to hear it. 1-800-795-9565. 1-800-795-9565. I'm Mark Lawrence. Stan Mitchell, the co-host. Kevin Hurd, the greatest engineer the world has ever known. And we'd love to hear from you. Good morning, Rick. Thanks for waiting. You're on the mark.
Hi, Rick.
Good morning, fellas. I've been I guess you could say, a football fan ever since youth. And, you come to work. I work outside. I get the pleasure of listening to you guys on the radio while I work. And I just want to know a two-word question about this Redskins. Why now? I mean, what has made it so offensive today that it's so important to waste so much time talking about such a trivial thing when there's so many more tragedies and more important things going on in the world? We're spending so much time now about this Redskins name. I mean, it's been around quite a while, fellas.
And so have the protests. We are starting to listen now.
Oh, I don't think so. I think you're exaggerating.
Okay, well,
It's just been.
okay.
I didn't hear it 10 years ago.
I heard it 50 years ago. I'm sorry,
Oh,
Rick,
that's-
but I heard it 60 years ago.
Oh, what? Maybe in someone's dining room, but come on. I mean, this is so blown out of proportion, and it's such a trivial aspect. I mean, we're becoming a world of whiners. I mean,
What are you whining about now?
I'm whining about you people spending so much time on such a trivial subject. Everybody who's complaining nowadays has things very nice. What's wrong? I mean, this is crazy. How about that journalist just got executed? I think that warrants more time than a football team that's named after some people that just don't have anything else to do but
Well, I
whine
think
about
that he certainly wasn't asking for it, but I think if you put yourself in harm's way, people are shocked at the graphic nature of his deaths, but journalists' deaths are barely noticed these days. And I believe I don't think he was a journalist anymore. I think he had been teaching. So he's a resident of there. To be killed in a violent way, violently, is not that globally.
And it is terrible and tragic. I totally agree with Rick on that. But I don't think, unless you're a Native American, that you have any right to say that it's trivial to be upset.
It is very trivial. It's a sports team. Like I said, it doesn't affect their lives every day. People don't discriminate against them because, you're on the side of the Washington Redskins helmet.
Well, I think
it's just people looking for things to just whine and cry about. That's
I understand what
line.
you're saying. In fact, Joe often argues that, when do we become so wussy, to paraphrase him, that, disparaging names mean something. But I think a lot of it has to do with respect. If you decide that you wish to respect other people's feelings and their sensitivities and the fact that, derogatory names offend them, then if you decide that you are going to respect them as a human, then you would listen to them and you would try to honor their wishes that you don't use disparaging names. But
Yeah,
if
but
you
why
let me
all
finish.
of a sudden is there so much spotlight on? It's been there forever.
Right. I think what is happening is the world is becoming more sensitive, and we're listening more to people who are offended by
Sensitive
derogatory
and also
remarks.
just not going out and
I think, just hold on and listen for a second. I think we are becoming a world that is becoming more sensitive to other people's, more politically correct is sort of one phrase that popped up. But really, we're becoming more respectful of other people. We're honoring other people as humans. We're respecting them when someone has adopted or utilized a name that we find offensive. So that's why we are changing this now. We're slowly, very slowly, becoming a better world and a better country. So that's why that's happening. Alrighty, Bill, thank you so much for calling in. You are on the mark.
Well, just prior to this last call, I've been listening to you folks talking about offensive names. And what I find very offensive, if I would be called a cowboy. That's all I have to say.
Oh,
I would not want to be called a cowboy.
Okay, we won't do that.
Thank you. That's funny. I hope he's making a joke about the NFL team that is the hapless Cowboys.
I find it offensive because I don't like the Cowboys, but that's a different offensive
Kevin
reason.
finds it offensive that you'd want to be referred to as from Washington.
And
All right.
we have an email here that I'll read it. It comes from Margaret. Although I'm pretty much a feminist, in my close circle of female friends, we call each other chickie, sweetie, girlfriend, etc. That would not be acceptable or appropriate in general conversation. I think it's parallel to other folks using language as they choose. And maybe it's just because they can use the N-word and the rest of the population can't. And I believe the Fighting Quakers is still being used. Just saying. That comes from Margaret. And I agree. We call each other names. Mark and I call each other names. We would never call each other on the air. When we're kidding around, when you're playing, when you're talking about things in the past, you do that. But you are in a controlled environment, and everybody understands. And to call somebody if I called one of our salespersons here at the radio station Chickie, they'd be very offended.
Right.
But
especially Bob.
Yeah, especially Bob. Is there a Bob here? I didn't know they allowed Bobs around here.
Yeah, there's still one. So.
Okay.
1-800-795-9565. We're talking about the Washington Redskins. We're talking about sensitivity, respecting other people's views when they're offended by others. One of our greatest callers, but just laid it out so clearly. Why are we so offended by this now? When do we become a nation of whiners?
I didn't make it up. I have heard about the problem with the word Redskins since I can remember. Have to point out that I had very liberal Quaker parents who worried about that kind of stuff. Probably where I learned it.
Fighting Quaker parents.
We got
Yes.
one caller on the line. Another one's going to wait till after the break, but we would love your viewpoint on this Redskins topic again. Cindy, you're on the mark. Thanks for calling in.
One thing that you could do is, in response to this, is what I have done, which is to try to provide assistance to some of the Native Americans in this country that live in abject third world poverty. The Lakota people in South Dakota is a good example. They have an annual income of about $6,000 a year, live in homes with no electricity or plumbing, and there is an organization called Friends of Pine Ridge Reservation, you can find them online, who put a list of needs for the children especially, and you can contribute to that.
That's a wonderful idea, Cindy. That's.
I hope you all join me in doing this. Let's change life for those children on that reservation.
That's walking the walk, and we appreciate that.
There you go.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Cindy.
you very much. 1-800-795-9565. A couple of minutes of open phones left this hour. We'd love to talk to you. 1-800-795-9565. Lenape Solar email in basket open. Email on the mark at WKOK.com. And I stress, the provider of the Elantra that Kevin gets to drive around. Just a gorgeous little silvery, it's called a Gray Ghost is the color, and it looks fantastic, and it's sleek as can be.
I heard Joe yesterday saying, can I have one of those? Joe, I'm older than you are. If anybody deserves one, it's me. It's me.
All right. Yeah, you don't need a streamlined car. You need one with a little assist chair that comes down, scoops you
true.
up. Scoops you up.
Now I'm offended.
1-800-795-9565. In fact, he's so offended he's going to come around the table and clock me, so he'll be over here in a couple minutes.
It may be the dog days of summer, but all the cool cats are at Sunbury Motors Kia.
Wanna see you in a Kia. Sunbury Motors Kia.
Yes, we're scratching and clawing for every dollar we can save you on new Kias, like our 2015 Sorenos with discounts and rebates up to $4,000, starting at $22,913. Or our iconic hit 2014 Kia Soul. We have 14 of these, starting at $14,995. And we're not done. How about the coolest, sleekest family sedan out there? Our 2014 Optima and Optima Hybrids, all with 0% APR financing for up to 60 months, starting at $20,860. We have 87 new Kias to choose from, and all with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. So hurry on down to the Strip at Hummel's Wharf and see the cool cats with the cool cars at Sunbury Motors Kia, or visit us at sunburymotors.com. Sunbury Motors, selling more cars and satisfying more customers for almost 100 years.
Tax and tax extra. Must qualify specially and KMF incentives apply. 0% financing to all qualified customers.
Hello, this is Justin Charles from Lenape Solar. Did you know that through energy savings of almost $5 million per year, our customers are saving the environment the equivalent of over 98 million miles of driving and eliminating the annual carbon dioxide emissions of over 5,600 homes each year? Do you want to know how to be a part of these amazing numbers? Call us at 286-1496 or visit us online at Facebook or lenapesolar.com today and find out more about our exclusive Buy American partners for solar energy and energy-efficient lighting upgrades.
Do you have unfiled tax returns or owe the IRS or state more than $10,000? If you don't take action now, your tax problem is only going to get worse. Seizure of property, bank levies, wage garnishments, and potential criminal prosecution. Call the experts at U.S. Tax Shield for help at 1-800-334-5070. Our tax advisors will review your case for free, inform you of your rights, and give you a guaranteed quote. And we have an A+ rating with the BBB, so get protected. Call U.S. Tax Shield now at 1-800-334-5070.
You need a website. Why not do it yourself? You know your business. With Wix.com, you can create a professional website all by yourself. It's easy and free. With Wix.com, you don't need to be a programmer. Just use the intuitive drag-and-drop website builder. There's no limit to how creative can be. It's your website, your style. Show the world what you can do. Create your own stunning website today. Go to Wix.com. It's easy and free.
Alrighty, 3 notes pending. One of our listeners says, should Milton not be the Black Panthers? Ha 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 ha. That's funny. Never seen ha ha spelled out like that way. Should Milton not be the Black Panthers? Another listener says, how about calling them the Washington Crackers? Ha 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 ha.
And then the Washington Football Corporation, with an offensive name, is not an issue because it hurts somebody's feelings. It's offensive because it dehumanizes an entire group of people and denigrates their culture. Wish I had said that.
Chris, you're on the mark.
Hi, Chris.
Maybe they could get on Fox News if they called themselves the New Black Panthers.
No doubt about it. And both of them would be truly fearful to the Fox News folks. What's on your mind this morning, Chris?
Well, I agree. It's really a pretty trivial issue with an even more trivial solution. You change the name of your football team, and as long as there's such a strong kickback, that makes it less, for doing that, that makes it less of a trivial issue.
A good point.
I mean, and, you know, he's whining about changing the name of the football team. Whine, 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 whine. You know, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. It's a ridiculous issue. And in some ways, I almost enjoy personally these vestiges of racism because it reflects on what the country's problems are, were, and are. And reminders of that maybe aren't bad in some ways. But when you have an easy solution to one of them and you don't do it, what's that say?
I have a feeling that with the announcers deciding not to use the word,
well,
I have
the
a feeling it's...
NFL announcers did. I watched the game. That's one of the reasons I called up old Pale-Face Joe yesterday and used that, because I was thinking of that because after he brought up Aunt Jemima, the NFL announcer, I was watching the Redskins, a little bit of the Redskins of Browns game, and the announcers are calling them the Redskins on the NFL network.
Okay.
Yeah, ESPN doesn't have ESPN doesn't have a policy on it, but like I said, CBS is the only one that's come out and said.
NFL does. They say it apparently.
Well, the CBS is the only one that's come out and said that it's going to be up to our broadcasters what they do.
And you know, instead of saying the N-word all the time, which always kind of bothers me, but I can understand why you don't want to say what it is. But you want to use that sort of example, maybe you should just say darkies.
Oh, yeah.
There's an racist term
that would solve the problem.
Actually say without getting shot at or censored.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm not sure about that.
And that's a little bit like Redskin, by the way, darkies. Thank you very much, Chris.
Appreciate that. Thanks,
appreciate
everybody,
that
for
call.
calling. You're listening to On the Mark. We will be having Joe McGranahan will be back in as the co-host tomorrow. No guest scheduled, so we can take up this topic or many other topics tomorrow during On the Mark. Dan Patrick Show is coming up. Let's see what the tweets are saying in terms of on the Dan Patrick Show. They're going to be talking about the Redskins. What do you know? Isn't that funny? So that's going to be coming up here, and also talking about not Tony Braxton, the other Braxton. Who's
and you know, talking about the Redskins and saying the word and so forth, it's all going to change. These people who are sitting there saying nobody's offended, it's going to happen. It's like same-sex marriage. It's like legalization of medical marijuana. It's like a lot of other things that change slowly. And my guess is that when old guys like me die off, the younger generation is more accepting of others.
Or maybe they're not as offended as others.
I think they'd be as offended. I have a great deal of respect for the younger generation.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Than, for coming in. We'll see you next
thanks
week.
for having me.
Thank you, Kevin, for being the greatest engineer the world has ever known. We thank Lenape Solar, sponsoring the email inbasket, lenapesolar.com, Sunbury Motor Company, sponsoring On the Mark, sunburymotors.com. The webcam is up and running. If you missed the show, you'd like to watch it, go to WKOK.com for the next 24 hours, or go to the YouTube WKOK channel anytime. This is WKOK Sunbury.